Welcome, everybody, to whatever the hell this ends up being. Not really sure. It's going to be an extra, might be a graveyard. I have no clue. But I am Cyborg, and I am joined, not always, by, well, I am joined usually, motherfucker. Temp is the guy's name. You know him. He's familiar. And we have some plethora of guests that we've had on over the many episodes, and they are also part of the community, the Nethercast community, and personal friends of the Nethercast, of course. And that is Redman, Ishi, and Brusk, as you know from Brusk Poet. So, hello everybody. Hey, look at me. Shut up.
Howdy.
I don't know. You didn't deserve that. I apologize. Okay. I'm just a little flustered right now, okay? My things, the intros have been Pearl Harbored, and you're just fucking me. I'm a little irritated. Okay, so here we go. The whole purpose of this is not to hear me sound like a jackass, but you will get that as an extra benefit. The purpose of this episode, or whatever we're doing here, is we are going to rate each character on the Injustice 2 roster thus far, and just give our pre-game opinions. None of us have played the final game yet, and yeah, we're just going to kind of give our opinions on their design, their gameplay, and just rate them out of 10, 1 to 10, how we feel about them, 10 being the best, of course, and go through the entire roster, and then maybe we'll revisit this after we've had some time with the game. We did this with MKX, so now we're going to do it with Injustice 2, so hopefully you guys dig this. If you are new to the channel, hey, come join the Facebook group. It's a closed group, and yeah, we're almost 100 strong on that group, and when we do guilds, we're going to take it from there, because that's a lot of our diehard fans, and not everyone, you know, if you're not into Facebook, that's cool too, you know. If you're a supporter of ours, then we appreciate that, and there's room for you. Either way, check that out for fun discussions and a very cool community that's filled with cool people. With that all out of the way, let's dive into this, and we're going to go off the websites, the characters listed on the website, so if you want to follow along here, this is the order we're going in, and we are going to start with Batman. So I will head us off here with Batman. I like his design this time around. I think his outfit looks better than it did in Injustice 1. I feel like that was an easy thing to do. And some of his gear options have looked really cool to me, as well as his shaders. I still want purple gloves Batman, so I'd really like that. I also want the classic blue and gray Batman. And I know some of his shaders have blue in it, I should say. But I don't know if we're going to get the exact classic Batman look with the cape and all of that. I hope so, because I like that. That's my favorite Batman, is the blue and gray version. But ultimately, I don't see myself playing Batman anyway, so it's probably not a big deal either way. And gameplay-wise, a lot of the same stuff from Injustice 1. Maybe some of his abilities can really add some more flavor to him. A little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more flashy stuff, which I'd like to see. But as of now, it's same old Batman, so I'm not really feeling too much like I need to play him this time around. Overall, though, I would rate him, I'll say a 7 out of 10. Yeah, 7 out of 10 sounds pretty accurate. I think his gameplay could be a bit better, and his looks could be slightly better as well. But overall, I'm happy with him. 7 out of 10. Temp, why don't you go next?
Okay, Batman's super balanced overall. I think he looks really good in terms of gameplay. His design kind of holds him back. His vanilla design, not bad. Like, I'm actually okay with even IJ1 Batman. I thought looked okay. It's just he's Batman. I think it looks a little plain, but it's not bad. I need to see what changed. I didn't really look into beta Batman too much, so I'm gonna say a 6.5.
Solid. And you choose somebody to pass it off to.
Ishi.
Thank you. So, Cyborg said that Batman feels like Batman. He feels like how he should, and I mean, at least this time around, he's not looking like a walking cockroach like he did in the first game. And
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's that helmet. I mean, I'm really glad that he took measures to protect his chin. But I mean, as far as the overall design goes, I feel like it could have been better. But yeah, I mean, the design is a step up. But I mean, overall, I just feel like as far as design goes in general, Batman has this. I wouldn't say it's a fad, but like it really a trend to like how many different ways can you customize Batman with like armor and shit. And that's something that obviously carried over with the Arkham games. And I mean, I have a different design philosophy when in terms of like how I would approach outfits with DC characters, but that's neither here nor there. But Batman looks good. I mean, as far as his gameplay goes, I mean, like I said, he plays like Batman. And story, it doesn't really seem like, well, judging from what we've seen, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything else. He's same old, these are lines we do not cross. He's still insurgency Batman. But I mean, he's cool, I guess. I mean, he's my favorite DC character, but I don't find myself playing this character. And we're obviously gonna get to who I'll touch upon eventually. So I mean, yeah, I guess Batman gets a solid 7 for me.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead and choose somebody to pass it on to.
Brusque.
All right. Well, Batman's an interesting one because honestly, the only thing I'm hyped for with Batman is the gear because we have an Affleck cowl in there, which is awesome. I don't know if we're gonna get the crest, or I don't know what you call it, the symbol, the bat symbol. I don't know, but the gear actually looks pretty cool for Batman. But in terms of like default design and everything, if you were just gonna go off of that, I would say it's a step up from Injustice 1 because, like as you said, he doesn't look like a cockroach this time around. Like the ears are just way too big the last game, but everything else is just kind of done right. But I don't know, it's done right, but it just doesn't make me feel like, hey, this is like the best Batman design ever made or something like that. So it doesn't get me any more excited for Batman, nor that I was really that excited for him. I mean, he is my favorite DC character as well, but I just don't see myself using him that much. But I will use him if like I'm bored on Injustice 2 and I don't have any other character to play that I don't want to play. If like there's a character I don't want to play, but I just don't want to play the Injustice 2, and then I'll probably just play Batman or something like that. But yeah, I'll give him like a 6 out of 10. It's probably what I give Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that leaves Redman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with you guys on the design. I think his design's a lot better. Just from a aesthetic standpoint, I think it's a lot better. And gameplay-wise, I actually think he is more interesting than the first game. I like that he's more of a defensive character, and he can kind of zone better with like the backstep with his battering. And I like that. I like that he's not just dumb rush down like he was in Injustice 1. I think they made a nice balance with that. So.
Well, yeah, they definitely improved his the projectiles with the batarangs and everything, like how it's a little faster. That to me kind of boosted my interest in Batman.
Yeah, like it always felt really sluggish for me in Injustice 1.
I know. It was I don't know. Injustice 1 felt really slow.
Yeah. I think that's a common complaint, but yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna use him, but for what he is, I think he's fine. Like, in gear wise, he looks pretty interesting too. I like the smoke-looking masks, like the kind of like future tech stuff. So
right.
Yeah, I think I'd give him probably a 6 out of 10. I think he's pretty solid.
Okay, and since you're up right now, just go ahead and jump on Superman.
Okay. Superman, I had some problems with in the beta. I didn't like that he was so brain dead and just really easy to get damaged with, and I just didn't think he was very fun to play. Like, I get that Superman, but I really wish they had gone a different direction with him and just tried to innovate more. Like, I get that he's a legacy character, but they could have done more with him, I think, gameplay-wise. But design-wise, I think his base design is fine. I just really don't like the gear. So, I mean, it's Superman, so I'll give him... Huh?
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'm just saying, yeah, I don't care for the gear, but I'd probably give him a 5 out of 10.
All right, and then choose somebody to go ahead and tackle him next.
Why don't you go?
All right. For Superman, I'm with you that his gameplay's never really done anything for me. It's just so many more, and it's not because I'm not a Superman fan. I do like the character, not really in Justice World, but I do like the character in general. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't like him enough to have any sort of desire at all to play Superman. I feel like there's so many more interesting characters to me that Superman would be definitely in the bottom like 4 or 5 that I would actually consider playing. And so yeah, just not really doing anything for me. And he also falls in like, if I'm gonna play Superman or Supergirl, I'd rather play Supergirl. And that, I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel. But design wise, yeah, he doesn't do anything for me. I don't like the big bulky armor by any means, but they've definitely done better this time around on his base form. He looks a little bit more streamlined. I'm hoping for a classic Superman look where you get rid of all that armor and it's just very old classic Superman, even with the curl and everything. I think that would look cool. But yeah, nothing's really doing it too much for me. So yeah, I'd say 5 out of 10 as well. I'd agree that he's just average to me. Nothing really sticks out as bad or great to me. He's just middle of the road. And Ishi, why don't you go ahead and tackle it next?
Sure. Okay. Well, as far as design goes, I feel like Superman's one character that if you want to gear up online, like, and if you're like a overall fan of design, it's like Superman has a lot of bad looking gear in my opinion. So I mean, especially with the headpiece and stuff, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean,
Yeah.
like the render on the website where he has like this, I don't know, black armor overlay on him. I don't know. I mean, I feel like his base design as it is looks good enough, and that's gonna be a problem for the the gear system since stats and whatnot. Story-wise, I mean, from what we saw in the Shattered Alliances trailer, it may seem like he's taken a step beyond the whole Earth Dictator role. Like he might play a more proactive role in the game. So I mean, that's interesting. He's got that going on for him. Of course, I'm speculating here, and I haven't watched the full story myself to know for sure. But yeah, just based on what I've seen, it definitely it's a step up for him in terms of his overall presence in the game. Gameplay, it's Superman. I mean, I haven't seen too much, but I mean, I've seen enough to know how he plays, and then, I mean, I have even more concerns after what I forgot who mentioned that, like Superman's gameplay being brain dead.
Yeah.
Was it you, Redman?
No,
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I suppose I give him a slightly above average, so I'll give him a 6, just below Batman. But yeah.
Okay, then just keep on passing it, and we'll just keep with that.
Sure. Temp.
Okay, I want to give Superman a 2.
Oh,
I
jeez,
really-
just rip. Yeah, let's just break that barrier.
I said generous. He's like, not 2.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's how
there's
this
a
goes.
huge disqualifier here. There's a
You straight
big
up really bad
disqualifier. And my biggest disqualifier is that it's not Superman. It's the stupid dick from the Injustice universe. Like, to me, those are 2 different characters. There's Superman, and there's the stumbling child king that he became in Injustice, which I don't mind from a story standpoint. But it's like, if I play a character because I want to emulate that character temporarily as an alter ego, and no one wants to be dick shit Superman. So that's a huge bummer for me, especially since like evil Superman is so boring in the story modes. I've only played what's accessible in the mobile app, but just in the comics it was like a slow descent. In the mobile app, in Injustice 2 mobile app, when I watched the story trailer it's such a mindfuck to me. The cutscenes, I'm like, God, he's such a boring, like, just arrogant, sly, snake-like asshole. And that's not what I like about Superman. Here are the things that certainly don't help. His gear looks like shit to me. I haven't seen any gear that's really impressed me from Superman yet. The face change, it's going to be a problem for me for every single character, is when they change the face. There's no need to do that. Just if you had a good face, keep the good face, right? And because no one really complained about Superman, his never really changed. So yeah, just so much working against him. And I actually really liked him in Injustice 1. I thought his gameplay design, although straightforward, really was a good fit for the character. That's really a good way to emulate what Superman would play like. Just a bunch of boring punches. But that's fucking Superman. So, with the boring intro dialogues, with the shitty visual design and gear, with the arbitrary face change, I'm not going near this character.
I will say real quick, he does have a cool super. I know. I think it's
He does.
interesting.
Yeah,
But
it's very Man
I
of
agree with
Steel
that.
like.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
kinda
like
like
how
the-
I like how it was an Easter egg to Man of Steel. That was nice.
Actually, one of the biggest things that bugged me about it was like the angle of when he punches you. Like he just punched you through the building, but they actually changed that. So now it kind of goes to the side where he punches you off screen. So it actually fixed
Yeah,
the one
like
thing
it's a
I found
roof
wrong
over,
with
yeah.
it. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I
I've seen
actually
so
didn't
many people
notice
be.
that, but yeah, that's cool.
He knocks dudes into the sky. I've seen that so many times now. Like, there's been so many supers where someone gets airborne, like very high up, and I'm just like, yeah. So
I think it has more
Superman.
personality than it's like Injustice 1 Super.
Yeah, I just like how he flies ahead of them and then stops them by their face. I don't know. That's the
But
point.
it didn't have the great.
I actually really like his. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No. The Injustice One Super was just so over the top. This one is kind of like Resident Evil 5 Wesker. It's stylish. Yeah, it's cool, but I've fucking done this shit before. So, I mean, he does put his own spin on it. But overall, even on the Super, eh. So, Brusk, why don't you take over from here?
Well, honestly, I mean, I was never really a big Superman player, but like I played him, and yeah, he's brain dead and everything. Like you said, I can just whip Superman's dick out and just make a freaking 40%
Yeah.
combo. Or something like
Yeah.
that. But honestly, what I'm hoping for is probably just the only thing I'm really wanting from Superman is just a classic Superman suit. But even then, like I'm gonna be playing classic Happy Boy Scout Superman, but the intro dialogues are gonna be like Dick Superman. So
Yeah, that is true.
it's gonna be a little disappointing, and that's probably the thing that brings me down. So it brings I have hopes that the gear will bring it up, but then again, like if I get that, then it's gonna go back down because the intro dialogues are gonna stay the same. So the grade rating would probably have to be 4 out of 10.
Okay, so unanimously, yeah, about average to below average for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so that leads us to Wonder Woman, and we'll just continue the trend. Why don't you start us off, and then after you're done, pick somebody else.
Okay, Wonder Woman. I was never really. I don't think I ever touched her in the freaking. Like that sounds weird, but I'd never really. I never even used Wonder Woman besides story. Obviously, I never used Wonder Woman in Injustice 1, but honestly, she's been given a lot more from what I've seen in Injustice 2, and in today's Gear stream, in today's stream, or in general, the stream today, we kind of saw like a little bit of the Wonder Woman movie kind of torso gear, so that's pretty cool. That'll be something I'm looking forward to, just to visualize that kind of the movie stuff into a game. That's something that really does excite me, no matter what character it is. But honestly, I'm not that big of a Wonder Woman person. So, and not to say that I don't like the character. I mean, I think Wonder Woman is a great character. I just never really been as interested in Wonder Woman than other people are. So, I mean, since I'm not really interested in her, I'd probably give her like a 2 out of 10. Not to say she's bad or anything. I'm just saying that I just have no desire to play Wonder Woman.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess Redman can take it.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, I didn't really use her that much in Injustice 1 either. But I'm actually really impressed with her so far in Injustice 2. Like, just with what they're doing with her gameplay and everything, like, she looks way more interesting now to me. I'm glad that they combined both of the stances. I really prefer that to. I just didn't really like comboing into her stances and then switching. It just didn't really gel with me that much, but yeah, I'm really loving what I'm seeing gameplay wise, and her design is great. Yeah, like I'm glad that she looks more like Gal Gadot than she did. Obviously, like the movie wasn't happening back then, but it looks more akin to that now. So yeah, I'm just liking everything I'm seeing with Wonder Woman. Like maybe story wise, I don't think she's probably going to be that interesting, but I mean, I'll take better design and better gameplay over a story like any day. So I'll probably give her actually like a 7 out of 10. I'm really liking what I'm seeing with her. So, Itchy, why don't you?
All right. So overall, I feel like Wonder Woman is one of those characters that came out of Injustice 1 and improved a lot in Injustice 2. I mean, the model is a huge step up. Wonder Woman looks a lot better and more proportionate, and thank God they fixed her face from the reveal trailer.
Oh god,
Yeah.
that wasn't hard
The
to
one
do.
Yeah.
They could have
That
put
one
a
animation-
brick in place of it. It would have probably been a step up.
Just a board with a face drawn on it.
It's Plank from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Like, no joke, like there was that one animation, like I believe someone screenshotted it, where she, in her super move, when she threw her shield, it's like her face looked like that one, it's like from that buddy cop film where they were like dressed as like blonde chicks in disguise,
Yeah, white
and they look
chicks.
like drags. Yeah, that's, yeah. Oh god, I mean, I'm really glad they fixed her face this time around. And I feel like her gameplay seems to be a step up as well. I really like how, is it her character trait where she calls upon the gods and like they grant her a different ability?
Yep, it's a random ability,
Yeah.
but all of them are really good and they last a long time. So
Yeah, that's a really interesting direction for the character to take, and I especially like how she can walk with her shield up. That's a really nice, really nice moveset. So I mean, gameplay is a step up. As far as design goes, I feel like maybe she's one of those characters that might benefit off the gear system. Not just obviously everyone's going to benefit off the gear system, but you know, as far as gameplay goes. But it's just like from the look perspective. I mean, from the look and feel. Like, I feel like maybe with the customization, you could get away with like giving her a lot of, you know, cool Greek-esque, you know, armor and, you know, design and such, like war skirt and maybe more fashionable bracers and like boots, or even the headpiece. And I believe, I don't know if it was one of the streams, but you can even change the design of the shield.
Oh, I didn't.
yeah,
actually
that's
know
one
that.
of her
Yeah.
items. Is the I think that's her 5th item because each person has 4 things that relate to like the typical stuff you would be able to change, and then each person's 5th slot is unique to them. So like Green Lantern's is his lantern,
Yeah,
Catwoman's is her whip, so on and so forth. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously, I don't have the slightest of intention of picking her up, but she seems like a really good character for this game. You know, the story I don't know much about. I mean, I've only seen her like in a few clips from the Shattered Alliances trailer, and she didn't really do much and of any, you know, nothing of importance in the first chapter of the story. So I mean, I don't know anything about that, but overall, she seems like a really good, you know. I feel like the character benefited a lot. Seems like she's benefiting a lot from this game. So I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be fair for me to give her the same rating as Batman, because she does have a lot of, you know, I feel like she's a step up in this game. So I'll give her an 8.
Nice.
All right, Cyborg, you go.
okay, for me, Wonder Woman, and just to stay timely so we can get these going a little bit quicker. Otherwise, we're probably at this rate going to take about 4 hours to get through this entire thing. But I think she looks great. Her design looks way better than it did in Justice 1. I think it looks phenomenal. Gameplay-wise, I am interested in playing her. I'll probably try her. She's probably like 5th or 6th in line, but I am interested in playing her. I like a lot of her new moves, like sliding on her knee pads and stuff like that, and holding up the shield, as you mentioned. And the gold and blue shader looked really amazing on her. And yeah, I just think she looks really good. The model looks really good. Storyline, not so much, but yeah, just in general, she looks like a lot of fun. And overall, the entire package, I'd give her an 8 out of 10. Temp, you're last.
Well, with Wonder Woman, she gets a lot of accolades, to be honest with you. I would say, in terms of visual design, she is the most improved looking character from Injustice 1. Her face looks feminine. She actually has like feminine curves on her body. She no longer looks like a muscular Steve Buscemi, so that's a huge fucking improvement.
She looks feminine and strong at the same time. They really
Yes,
nailed that
yeah.
aspect. So she's not like dainty, but she looks like a powerful woman. So yeah.
Yeah, she's got fucking hips now. Like she didn't have that before. So yeah, that works so much better for a female design. That's one accolade. The second accolade is best gear so far, in my opinion. I think her gear and her versatility, all the gear I've seen for her matches Wonder Woman. That looks like something I would see in the comics for the most part. I'm granted there's a lot of gear I haven't seen, but in terms of just like pleasing everyone, giving everyone the Wonder Woman they want, I think her gear has been the most impressive. Where I look at her gear, I'm like, that looks cool. So that's accolade number 2. I'm gonna give her another accolade. Most improved legacy gameplay. I thought it was really smart to what's the word I'm thinking of here? To I guess homogenize her sword stance with her non-sword stance. I thought that was very smart. So I don't have to sacrifice so many options by using a sword and shield, which to me is Wonder Woman. She needs a sword. She needs a shield. She's a fucking Amazonian.
Right.
And her trait, I'm sort of on the fence with her trait. I like the idea. I don't know if it's for me, but it's interesting though.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, just great legacy gameplay. Overall, I would say I'd give her an 8. I'm not gonna call it a criticism. The only thing that holds her back is I don't really remember how she plays, so I can't even really pin a style. I guess she's sort of like a traditional rushdown character with mild zoning, kind of like Captain America, Marvel vs. Capcom. Just zoning with some decent long range rushdown.
Right.
And that's cool. But
it's a good style. Yeah, it fits what I would like. But yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I never played her before, so I don't really know how I feel about her gameplay. I don't really have opinions. So
sure.
So now we're on Supergirl, right?
Yep. Go ahead and take us off there.
That was interesting. I'm glad I actually went first because I am not separating Power Girl from Supergirl because Power Girl is going to have all the same gameplay. So she might as well be Power Girl. And I think the new Power Girl, the design looks really good. I think visually she's cool. Even like, the traditional Supergirl, her default design, her gear looked good. I think she looked really good with the shaders. The face looks great now. They've really fixed up the face, so that's working a lot better. Her gameplay is... She's just kind of like Superman. She has a lot of options, so you can't really put her in a box. She can do pretty much anything. She's a little more risky than Superman, which I like. I think that's a great way to balance that design out. But just, I guess what kind of holds her back is I don't really have strong feelings on her. I just like the Power Girl design. That she was on my original Injustice list, so that is really cool to see her in the game and to see that Power Girl actually ended up looking pretty good. I've only seen like leaked photos, so... it may look like shit in the game, but usually that's not how it turns out. So, I'm going to give her a score of 7. Did I give Wonder Woman a score?
Yep, you gave her 8.
Yes, you gave her an 8. Yeah.
So, Redman, take over, man.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make this quick because I just don't really, like you said, I don't really care about the character either. Well, you do, but yeah, like I just don't really find her.
Girl. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't really find her that interesting. I mean, she's not a character I'm looking to play or anything. Design-wise, she's fine. I mean, she looks like Supergirl. I mean, that's all good. But gameplay-wise, I didn't find her very interesting. I thought she was kind of basic and just not really my style. I just didn't really dig that. Just as a character, I just don't really find her interesting. She's not what I'm looking for. A character, and she looks to be more like the Cassie of this game. It seems, at least personality-wise, and just kind of in the story. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say, but I will say her gear looks good, and she just looks fine. I guess she's just an okay character, so I'll probably give her a 5. So yeah. Cyborg.
Okay, Supergirl, to me, I had fun with her in the beta. She was the first character. I kind of went from Blue Beetle to kind of breaking into the game to Supergirl to really start to truly enjoy the game, and then eventually settling on Atrocitus, who I had the most fun with in the beta. But Supergirl, yeah, she was very much my style. I like the zoning option as well as the rushdown style, and she can do both of those pretty well as a hybrid character in that regard. So I definitely dig her gameplay. I love the laser beams, how quick they are, and I love that you can just do them by a press of a button. There's something to be said by having a special move that's done with a single button. I don't know, it just brings its own unique factor. I don't have to press back forward X to do a laser. I can just press X to do a laser, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool just doing that on a whim, and they're so quick on response, and they go across the screen really quickly, that yeah, you definitely have fun with this character. So yeah, and I enjoy her being able to float in the air and as like a taunt and to mind fuck your opponent. So I definitely had fun with her, and I like Power Girl as well, and I think she looks good. They did show her off in the Gear stream. They showed her off in one match, and I thought she looked good in gameplay. To answer your question, Tim, I thought her model looked really good in gameplay, and I like the difference.
I'll check that out.
The voice sounds good for Power Girl, a lot, more of like a mature woman, whereas Supergirl sounds more in her early 20s. Power Girl sounds more like mid 30s, maybe. So yeah, she definitely has a nice dynamic between the two of them. And Supergirl's gear and whatnot, I really dig, and I'm so happy they included her skirt. Will I play her? Definitely not in my, once again, I mentioned this before, probably not in my top 5 or 6, but I mean, if I can make it through that many characters, like if I stick with this game and play it long enough to where I keep learning more and more characters, eventually Supergirl's number / Power Girl is going to come calling, so she'd probably crack my top 10 easily, I'd say, because she was a lot of fun. It's just so many other characters I want to try. But yeah, Supergirl, definitely digging her in this game. I think model looks great, same with Power Girl, and gameplay was a lot of fun, and I'm interested what other abilities she has. So overall, I would probably give her, I'll say 7. I'll say 7. 7 out of 10. And I will throw it to Brusque. Brusque, are you there, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have my mic on.
Okay.
But I had a lot.
Why can't you guys hear me?
I have a lot to say about her because she is going to be my main. She was my main in the beta, so I'll also run through this quickly in my quick thoughts and everything. I think her base design is like perfect. I'm like, that is just Supergirl. Like, it's like the same thing with Temp said about her gear. Like, if you saw that gear piece in the game, looks like something that would come from a comic or something like that. This looks like it would come out of a comic and everything like that. I mean, like, granted, like, she's always had this kind of like base design, but I like the shoulder kind of things on her and everything like that. I would prefer her to have longer hair. Like, I would prefer like her hair to be longer because it reminds me of Power Girl, and then when Power Girl has that hair, it's just way too similar. So,
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I would kind of wish that the hair was longer on Supergirl, and Supergirl's hair in this game would be on Power Girl only and everything like that. But in terms of Power Girl, speaking about Power Girl, I actually really, really do like her. I'm getting into her character a little bit more. Like, I'm reading more about her, and she seems very interesting. I really do like her. I can't wait to use her. I mean, I like Supergirl's gear where she has that white shader. She looks just great in that. The gear is great. Her gameplay is like everything you need in a character to be good or a character to be good. So honestly, she's just perfect for me. And she was just like my perfect fit when I went to the beta. So I'm gonna give her a 10 out of 10.
Damn. First 10 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So is she.
All right. Supergirl is probably one of those characters that suffers from the Batman syndrome where, I mean, I'm not too invested in the character. The gear system, probably, she would suffer from the same Superman problem, where she'd probably look better with less. But Supergirl does have a lot going on for her, especially with the skirt that we saw from the stream. I feel like she might have accessories that will probably help her get out of the Superman syndrome. Story-wise, I expect a lot of big things for her. I feel she's destined for a lot of good things in the story. She definitely seems like to be the center of focus. Her gameplay seems diverse. I mean, I don't plan on picking her anytime soon. Obviously, since Brusque is planning on maining her, and I'm gonna have to stay away.
Nobody's taking my main. Nobody's taking my main.
But overall, she seems pretty cool. I especially love how she's voiced by Serana, the same voice actress for Serana from the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. So, I mean, every time I listen to Supergirl, I cannot think about Serana. But yeah, she seems like a good character. I would say 7, but I feel she probably deserves an 8, just because of how much attention she's being given. So there's that.
Okay, well then kick us off with Aquaman. You there?
Aquaman.
Did you go away in that split second?
Teleported back in and out. All right, so Aquaman. I don't really have much to say about Aquaman. He's one of those characters I didn't really pay too much attention to. I mean, the only thing I do know about Aquaman is that you mentioned about the trident stabby, and I'm really glad that's back. I feel like that should probably be a staple for Aquaman. You cannot have Aquaman without stabby stab. Yeah.
I agree. No, I think that's spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, MK needs a stabby stab. Anyways,
it does have a stabby stab. It's Cryomancer.
I think it's kind of hard for you. I think it's kind of hard for you to go off an opinion on this render on the website, because the website is.
Yeah, I mean, it's half his face is shadowed, half of it, like his body is shadowed. I do not like that his default costume does not have some sort of upper apparel. But I'm sure gear can obviously remedy that easily, so that's good. Story, I don't know anything about what he's doing. Gameplay, I have literally nothing going on. Like, I have no idea.
Okay, you can always pass. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You're not required to talk about things if you don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're scoring, obviously since we're scoring based off of our opinions, I guess I'd have to throw Aquaman at 2.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, just buried him
So
right in the sea.
I was planning on it. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll pass this on to Temp.
Throwing Temp's secret character under the bus like that.
Yep, there you go.
Oh.
Sorry for jumping onto this game late. That's what I get.
It's cool. I mean, Aquaman's it's interesting because I really do love his gameplay concept. The execution was really poor in Injustice 1. He was way too good. He had a lot of options, and I love the mid-range pressure, the safe offensive game. I loved that. They took the zoning way too far. And when they changed him on the legacy side of things, it sounds like they kind of favored the zoning over the safe pressure, which is not the direction I would have gone. But I learned how to play this character, and I really did enjoy him. His design so far, his gear is not looking good to me. I have yet to see anything that makes me want to be like, hey, this looks cool, let's play this character. Now, if he's my secret character or not, just a quick comment on that. My criterion for which secret character I'm using is not the criterion for which my favorite characters are going to be. It is a different standard, so I kind of use a different rule set for them. So he's in that territory, and he does look much better now, but I need some better fucking gear. And I need to see what his pressure game's like now. The abilities sound very promising. I need to see what his vanilla trident stab, how advantageous or disadvantage. Yeah, that. I need to see what that's like.
I can answer that for you real quick. I don't think it changed in terms of where it sets them safe wise or unsafe. I know damage wise, if they block it, it's still a good chunk. It's basically if you hit them with a projectile with them not blocking. So it's about maybe 6 or 7% of their health, and that's with them blocking, and that's just vanilla. And then trying to think damn it, I lost it. It's gone. Oh, wait, no. The only thing that they majorly changed about the Trident Stab move is that now when he meter burns it, if he meter burns it, he's not getting... he's not earning bar by meter burning it. Does that make sense? He's not earning bar when he keeps hitting them with it.
As dumb as Injustice 1 Aquaman was, I like that. I thought that was cool, actually. I feel like they need to balance the character around that, keep that, make everything else worse. But I think that's a great way to push a pressure character. If you want mid-range, hardcore pressure, do that. Make that really good, right, and weaken everything else around that, and you have a really interesting character design. So I get it. We see what happens when you take interesting too far. That's Keats with Killer Instinct. Interesting can be dangerous if you don't, kind of put a lasso around it. So I want to give him a 7 just because I still like Aquaman. And there's nothing, even though I'm not fond of all the gear, even though I'm not 100% behind the design or the gameplay changes, it's still Aquaman, and there's nothing that's not workable so far. So 7. And Cyborg, you go.
For Aquaman, for me, I have confidence that we're gonna get that orange scale mail shirt, and I don't know. The gear has not I mean, there have been letdowns in certain cases, but we haven't seen a lot of the gear for a lot of the characters. They've really held back, I feel like, which is good on them, because I feel like we're going into this with still a lot of things to discover gear wise. I mean, Scarecrow is a prime example of that. I mean, we're still seeing great gear for him. So Aquaman, we haven't seen a whole lot for, really, gear-wise either. So I'd imagine, I'd be surprised if we don't. Gameplay-wise, I really do like what I saw in that stream, both vanilla and with the abilities. He had some crazy options. The fact that he can take like 30% of your life bar, almost, just shy of it, with the stabby stab, with the ability when he's buffing himself, which was one of his ability, he buffs his damage on chip. And yeah, that was nuts that you can block the move and you're still eating almost a third of your life bar. That, I mean, it sounds super broken and crazy, but a lot of the abilities I expect to be super broken and crazy, and I think it's just going to be an all-out bloodbath between all of us. It's basically a free-for-all, just hold your butthole tight, kind of just all have fun. And I like that. There's nothing wrong with that kind of... I don't think everything needs to be super balanced. I think it is kind of fun to have all these broken characters colliding and seeing like, oh, you have broken, like you can damage the shit out of me if I block. Well, I can have my cat come up and give me basically extra half a life bar or whatever. That's not what happens. But I like kind of like unique things that make the characters stand out. But in terms of Aquaman, he had some cool stuff. They nerfed his trait just a tad. It still lets you slip out of combos. It just doesn't last as long, so you got to kind of... And it has a higher cooldown to it, so you kind of got to pick and choose when you use it. But it had some cool... overall, he still looks like he's going to be really good. And I was definitely won over by his gameplay from when they were showing him off earlier, and his abilities seem neat. He has his little shield that comes up that can eat projectiles, and one of his abilities allows him to meter burn that and the whole like across the whole screen. That looks like it's in the shape of like a shark fin. It looked really neat, and yeah, he's just got some cool stuff going. I even love the finesse in his jump backwards. When he's jumping backwards in the air, he does like a nice little turn from looking backwards to forwards. It just... I don't know, just little nuances like that about the character. Even the way he handles his trident in battle looked really smooth and really well done. So yeah, overall, the model looks a lot better. The gear, I agree with you, could be better. I do dig it though, and I'm just hoping we get that orange scale mail. Overall though, I would give him a 7.5 out of 10. And I will throw it to Brusque. Brusque, are you there?
It took me, because I was trying to unmute my mic, and then it took me like 2 taps, so I'm like, unmute it. All right. So, actually, I don't have, I'm not looking, it's not like I'm talking negative, but I'm saying, like, I don't really have any desire to play the character, but I'm not saying he's bad. But I would say that he does look very good, and I would say he's a very good character as well. You guys, about the gear and everything, you guys, like, it's not really interesting to you. Honestly, it's something Aquaman. It just looks like Aquaman stuff. So, that's fine. I'm like, that's something Aquaman would wear. I don't really mind his design. I think it looks fine to me. The model looks really good. The render I'm looking at right now on the website is bad, but I'm just the one in game, the updated one, is just really, really good. So, I actually might give him a try, actually, because he looks... I don't know, with the things that they showcased today, or not. I didn't tune in that much. I still need to finish it, but from what you're describing and everything, and I saw the chip damage and everything, seems like he's a little bit more interesting than the first one. So I might just pick him up and just see what he's all about, and I guess hopefully he'll just I'll be hooked on him, and it'll be like, yeah, boom, another character I use. So the rating. Probably 6.8 out of 10.
Oh god, now we're not even going by 0.5s. We got 0.8s going on. You broke the seal on that.
This is why I always stick with solid numbers.
Geez.
I never go points unless I have to.
Okay, that leaves you, Redman.
Okay. Initially, I wasn't too interested in Aquaman. I was kind of upset that he had the legacy gameplay, but I've kind of turned that around because the more I've seen of Aquaman, and especially with the updated model and face, I'm just really loving what I'm seeing. Like, I played Aquaman a lot in Injustice 1, but I never mained him because I thought it was really boring. But I think some of his updated aesthetics like on the from the Deep move with the tentacles. I think that looks amazing now, and just it's so much more practical now. I think like it was really good in the first game, but now you can actually get a back 3 off of that with the meter burn, so it's a lot better. Yeah, I just like how they actually handled Aquaman. He seems like he's still pretty good. Like he doesn't seem as broken, but for the most part, I think he's pretty interesting. So yeah, I will agree on the gear that most of it is trash. Like one thing I was worried about was I wasn't gonna be able to get the shirt, but I really do love that he can change his trident though. I think that's really awesome. But
Definitely.
yeah, I'm actually really excited for Aquaman. I'm definitely gonna play him since I played him a lot in the first game. So yeah. Oh, and do I go on to Atrocitus?
Did you give him a rating?
Did you give him a rating?
Yeah.
Oh, rating. I'll actually give him an 8 out of 10. I'm really liking it.
Okay,
Nice.
and yeah, go ahead and go on to Atrocitus.
Design-wise, Atrocitus is a fat piece of shit, and I kind of hate him.
Dear God.
Yep.
Gameplay-wise, I mean, it was inevitable, yeah. Like, gameplay-wise, still, like, I had fun with him, but I felt like he was very vanilla. I felt like the abilities could help with some of that. Like,
Right, I agree.
yeah, like, I really like the blood, I don't know if it was the tornado. It was the one where it kind of popped them up afterwards. I can't remember what it was
Yeah,
called.
the blood
Yeah, it
summon.
was a tornado.
Yeah, that was really sick. Yeah, like he is interesting. I really feel like I would enjoy the character more if I was able to have his classic outfit, and maybe if he had his classic outfit, I think I would dig the character a lot more. But as he is, I think he's well done gameplay wise, but design wise, I think he's one of the worst, if not the worst, in the game by far. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh, 10.
Atrocitus is actually. I mean, I'm kind of split on the character because the design is absolutely awful. But if you're designing a Red Lantern and you're building a character on the idea of anger, I actually think they did a good job. What they did was they gave a character some really good mid hitting combo options, and once you block anything from him, you're basically put into a scramble. I think that's a really smart character design. Maybe not the most interesting, but I think it fits the character, and I think it's a style we haven't really seen. But the minute you're blocking anything, it's like, fuck, I have to guess now. He forces the scramble onto you. That's really cool to me. Is it going to be fun to play against? Fuck no, but that's okay. It's injustice. Injustice is not about fairness. It's about injustice, and that's cool. The gameplay, there's no point talking about his design. His design is his design. I guess my only other complaint is my complaint with all the lanterns. I still feel like the animations and the rendering on his specials looks really uninspired. It didn't go far enough with any of the lanterns, but Atrocitus, although not quite to the extent of Hal Jordan, it's still a problem to me, so I'm going to give this character a reluctant 5. I hate to do that because I do think the gameplay design is really smart, but it's uninspiring and the design is really bad. And the gear makes it worse. Like if the design wasn't bad enough, now they have to give the beef stick like horns and shit, and I think that's awful. So I'll give him a 5.5 for Dexstar. Dexstar is awesome. So he gets an extra half a point for that.
I agree with that. That's
Brusque, what do you got for me?
Well, I'm a have to join in with you guys on the fat Atrocitus. I don't like it at all. But just like trying to ignore it. I don't mind the horns thing with the gear. I think that actually doesn't look that bad. It's something that I would think would go on Atrocitus, but it's fine. It's fine for what it is. I hated playing against him in the beta and everything. I mean, he was good, but Jesus Christ, he was so freaking annoying. Just people who are really good with him, like my God, it was such a pain to go against. I remember Redman. He was using Atrocitus and he was using these ridiculous combos, and I was like, dude, stop. But yeah, honestly, that kind of makes me want to play him a little more because, like, if I can do that, if they're doing it on me, I probably want to do it back on them, and I want to do it on other people. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give him a shot. So I'll probably have to give him I'll give him a 7 for having his gameplay really interest me, because I think gameplay wise he's really really good. So I'll give him a shot and we'll see how it goes from there. Cyborg, let's go.
Atrocitus, yeah, I agree with many of the points that were made here. Design leaves a lot to be desired. I would love to have a classic outfit for him. If we could have a classic, just Red Lantern outfit, I'd probably be more likely to actually play him. And I had a lot of fun in the beta with him. He was my favorite character from the beta, surprisingly. Definitely would not have predicted that going in, because he was one of my least exciting characters to try, I should say. But yeah, I liked his gameplay. I loved the combos. He just felt good about it. And yeah, I didn't play big characters like him, and I still usually don't prefer that, but I really enjoyed his style. And Dexstar was neat, and the whole package was great. I'm hoping that we really see some gear that really kind of changes things. I mean, the lava look and all that is okay, I guess. I mean, it could be worse. It could be better. I'm not hating it totally, but I'm hoping we get some variety. I feel like out of all of the people with gear, he has had the least variety in terms of actually changing things up. And there's some other characters that suffer from that same issue, that their gear just doesn't offer a whole lot of variety. It just seems all very much like the same, just slightly altered. So I'm hoping we get some radical changes with his gear for options, get rid of the lava look. But ultimately, yeah, I'm digging the character as the ultimate package, but definitely could be improved upon. So I'll say a 6 out of 10. And that leaves Ishi.
Yeah. I mentioned before about Superman not benefiting from the gear system, but Atrocitus I feel is like probably the biggest contender for gear system not helping him out, because obviously that design on its own, the base design is terrible. Like, I'm nearsighted, and as soon as I like back away from my computer screen, he just looks like a red blob of shit to me. And that's all I can really say.
I mean, that covers everything as far as design goes. Like, that's a good way to sum it up, in my opinion.
But honestly, even the gear makes him look fatter too. So
the gear makes it even worse. True, yeah. Gameplay. Well, I mean, if I recall correctly, he was played a lot during when the beta was out, and when I was watching streams, the two moves I saw most were the air punch walk and the blood tornado.
Really, his only moves that are worth using, and that's the thing.
Those are the only things that make him good.
And so, I mean, that's going to be annoying to go up against, most certainly. I'm probably going to hate this character the same way Brusk hated MK 2011 Cyrax.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like this might be the one character that I'll absolutely hate
going
against.
Well, with MK9 Cyrax, I mean, like, I don't want to talk about Mortal Kombat for this thing.
Yeah,
like, a lot. I'm just going to say, like, but with MK9 Cyrax, it made me not even want to touch the character because of how annoyed I was. But Injustice 2 made me want to actually kind of try out Atrocitus, because unlike Cyrax, Atrocitus' gameplay is actually pretty good.
So, I mean, yeah. I suppose, but it's just, I mean, I don't really have any intentions of playing the character. I mean, if it wasn't for Dexter, I would probably give this character a 2. I mean, Dexter really seems to be mixing it up with his gameplay, and I suppose that gives him a plus. Story, I don't know about story. I remember the story trailer, it was talking about how, like, every character is going to be part of these different factions and stuff, and there are even some wild cards, and that kind of gives me concerns about Atrocitus' role in the story. He's not going to do much. I mean, I'm going to expect him coming in saying, "I can sense your rage, Hal Jordan," then immediately go out and just, like, fuck off with the rest of the story.
He would just be like the MK versus DC Easter egg. He would just come in and say, "The rage," and then go out.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I pretty much expect him to do. So, I mean, I suppose I'll give this character a slightly below average rating, so 4 for me.
Okay.
And that's all I have to say.
Go ahead and head us off with Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd. Most of the stuff I recall about Gorilla Grodd were from the gameplay trailers, especially from Flash, and especially from the It's Good to Be Bad. I don't really know much else. Obviously, I'm not big on bruiser types. I'm not, I'm more akin to faster, characters. So, I mean, Grodd is not going to be my pick. I have no interest in the character at all. It's going to be interesting. He's going to, I feel like he might be a key antagonist in the story. I expect big things for him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Design wise, I mean, gorilla with armor, I suppose. I don't really know much about Grodd's story to criticize his design or anything. I don't know anything beyond Batman villains. So, I mean, that's all I can say about Grodd. He's
He's Grodd.
a big target. He's a
Yes.
big target for a 2016 meme. That's all I can say.
That's
So,
accurate.
Grodd gets a 3 for me.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
rough.
since we're basing this off of interest, I mean, I'm gonna have to be brutally honest
That's
here.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Redman, you go.
Oh, I'm loving Grodd. He looks amazing to me. I think one of my biggest complaints about NetherRealm games is that there wasn't enough variety in characters and just archetypes, and like with Killer Instinct and like Saberwolf and Gargos and Idol and all that. I love that they finally put in someone that's not just like a base human. I think a gorilla is awesome. I love everything they've done with this character, and he's someone who's very requested for Injustice 1, so I think putting him in Injustice 2 was a no-brainer, and I'm just loving what they're doing with him so far. I'm loving his gameplay. I'm loving his design. From the very get-go, I thought this character was so well done. I think they knocked it out of the park.
I kind of regret giving him a lower rating than Atrocitus. Okay, fine. Okay, Grodd gets a 5.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, I think he's well deserving of that. Like, he's just
Yeah.
amazing so far. I'm
He
definitely gonna
definitely
play
has
the
more
character.
diversity, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think it's something I want to see forward in more NetherRealm games. I want more diversity. I think this is a good step forward for that. Even if it does like play into like Beast Boy if he ever gets in or something like that. Just the experience of putting in a gorilla, I think, was a very awesome thing of them to do. So yeah, I'll give Gorilla Grodd actually a 9 out of 10. Very, very impressed with it. Brusk, why don't you?
Well, as I mentioned before we started the Skype, before we started the episode or thing, he's just not, his gameplay just is not my type. I'm not really a big tank kind of character or player with fighting games, but I think the two things that interest me the most are probably his gear, because I think his gear looks really, really good, and his role in the story, because I feel like he's going to have a really big role in the story. And it seems interesting from the Shadow Alliance's part trailer. I mean, like when he said like, no more regime, no more just, and like that gave me chills. That was like really, really cool. That was really, really good to me. So the thing that saves Gorilla Grodd for me is probably because the gear looks good and the story is really interesting me a lot. So I'll be nice and give him a 6 out of 10. Because who knows? Like maybe I'll play the story and be like, okay, I want to pick up Grodd now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Temp.
Okay, Grodd, it's no secret I'm really excited for this character. I mean, I've been really excited for a long time, so I mean, I'm just kind of ready to play the character at this point. But Grodd is so interesting to me. Like, I wish I can go back in time and show myself like a picture of the select screen for Injustice 2, and I'd be like, "Hey, past self, which one of these characters looks like they would play like a Buki from Street Fighter 5? I'll give you 6 guesses. I would have never fucking guessed it was Grodd. Ever. Fucking ever. But he has a restand that goes into a vortex. That's a very Ibuki. Really good forward mobility, Ibuki. A super jump that goes into a combo, Ibuki. And just decent, no like traditional projectile, but still decent long range options once he has his trait activated. So I main Ibuki in Street Fighter 5. I love that character design, and lore wise, I think she's pretty interesting too. I think she's like my 3rd favorite character in the series. So yeah, just a really interesting take on Rushdown, and a huge departure from the traditional NetherRealm character. So I too will give him a 9 out of 10.
Good shit.
Cyborg.
All right, Gorilla Grodd. Yeah, I think this character is incredibly interesting to me, and he just has so many interesting things going on with his gameplay. I like the way he looks. Story-wise, he's interesting, so he's just interesting across the board to me. I'd say the weakest part about him is his maybe his looks, and that's not even like a that they're bad. It's just, I mean, I guess I don't know what else they would do with them. I'm fine with them. I honestly have no problem with the way he looks. I'd be fine if he had no armor at all, and then you just build up from there with all the different armor types. But yeah, I've seen some cool stuff looking for him. Yeah, I'm really excited for his role in the story. I'm hoping that it's not just minor, where he's in and out as like a, the setup character for the first three, or the first third of the story or anything like that. I'm hoping that for the whole society, not just Grodd. I'm hoping that the society plays a pretty large role, because I like a lot of the characters on that team. So Grodd spearheading that, I'm definitely digging that. And gameplay wise, yeah, he looks like a lot of fun. I love that he can just throw on armor and just get in. And you know what? He doesn't have to put up with any of that bullshit that zoners are going to give him. So as a potential person that's going to play Ivy and Fate, definitely scary to think that this giant gorilla is going to be, coming at me and there's not much I can do about it. So he has that intimidation factor. He has that intelligence factor that he can just fuck with you. I like his leap. I like the mental stuff. His super is really the only thing that's lackluster about him, I should say. And I just felt like it could definitely be better. But overall, yeah, I'm definitely digging this character. I'm glad you guys are playing him, because I don't really feel the need to play him. Not that he doesn't look fun. It's just other people are playing him, and I have so many characters on my plate as it is that it's like, as long as he's in the mix, I'll be happy and satisfied with that. I don't necessarily need to be the one controlling him to enjoy that. So I'm hoping you guys, take him to a point where you're using him often, because if not, and nobody was playing him, if nobody I knew was playing this character, he'd probably crack my top 5 in that regard, because he does look like a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm happy with a lot of the stuff going on with him, and overall, I will give him an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
And I will start us off with Deadshot. For Deadshots, I think they did the character well. I'm not sure what else I would expect from him. He's obviously going to be a hardcore zoner, and I think that makes sense. And the less comboing he's doing up front, the better. This should be a character that's complete keep away, and it seems like they accomplished that. I like that a lot of his gunshots knock people back, especially with his trait. I dig the fire for extra damage over time. I dig the poison, which takes their life, or not their life, but their meter down. And I like that the explosive rounds knock the opponent back, which are incredibly useful for him if they want to keep zoning people out, much like Deathstroke did. So in Deadshot's case, I think he's going to play pretty well. Will he be able to hang with the other characters? Because there's so many, there's teleporters, and there's all sorts of shenanigans that he's going to have to deal with. I don't know if he's going to do it well, but, if abilities are being enabled, I think he's going to stand a better chance, because he has a lot more varying gunshots in that regard. But overall, I'm digging him, and he looks like fun. Definitely not anything that I'm interested in playing, so to speak, but overall with the character, I think they did him well. And design-wise, I can't imagine them doing really anything better. His gear, however, looks, pretty awful. I don't like the modern warfare or futuristic warfare type stuff. I think that's kind of like lame for him. I mean,
he has a black mask.
I mean, I don't mind that so much, but yeah, just in general, not a big fan of his gear. I'm sure he'll have some cool helmets in there as well and some cool gear, but I guess I don't know what else I'd suggest for the character, though. I hope we get a gear where he's wearing like the I don't want to say pimp hat, because it's not really a pimp hat, but like the old-timey fedora hat, or not really that either. You know what I'm talking about, but like in his classic outfit in his origins, kind of like what Will Smith wore in the movie, but that's from the comics. So if he wore that kind of outfit, like an old duster and all that kind of cool shit, or a trench coat in that regard, I think that would look really badass for the character. So I'm hoping we get something like that to mix it up from the futuristic warfare type stuff. Overall, though, I think it's a solid character. Not really for me, though, so I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. And I will throw it to Redman.
Okay. Yeah, not a character I'm very interested in. I never really minded the character. I'm just not interested in him. Gameplay-wise, a lot of people were excited for him, and it just did nothing for me. I mean, he's just a zoner. Like, he's got shitty up-close options. I mean, that's just not interesting to me. I think he's going to be a problematic matchup for, like, Swamp Thing, who I'm going to be using, and I think he's going to be a very popular character online, and I don't know, I'm just not very looking forward to playing that. I just don't think he's very interesting. Like, story-wise, I don't know much about him, but I doubt he'll be playing that prominent of a role. So I just don't really have. Yeah, he's gonna be a fucking jobber. I think that's almost
sadly, because I actually really like Deadshot as a character.
He's the main jobber.
That'd be a surprise.
Takes off his mask. It's Will Smith. Welcome to Earth.
But yeah, not much else to say. I agree that his gear looks like shit. I don't really like the dragon things that he had on his arms or something like that, like that replaces guns. I'm just not digging it. Yeah, I'll give him probably like a 4 out of 10. I'll pass it to Tim.
This is interesting. I'll say this about Deadshot to start positive. I think he's the #1 candidate for Dark Horse gameplay-wise in this game. I think if anyone's going to take us by surprise, I have a feeling it's going to be Deadshot. Right now, Firestorm still looks like the premier zoner. But I have a feeling that Deadshot's that character who someone's going to find an exploit for, or someone's going to find that one chain combo that's just super dumb on frames. I think he's going to be the one who's got his pockets full when it comes to the arena. I think he's going to be the one who's going to surprise everyone. Because when I watched the gameplay demonstration, I'm thinking, this is good, but I need a little bit more information. I feel like with the right frames, this could be dangerous. Firestorm is a little less flexible. It's very obvious what his moves do and what advantage he gets afterwards. So that's not a knock on Firestorm. I just think the quality of Firestorm's gameplay is a little more transparent. Deadshot, It's not so obvious how good this stuff is going to be. Just real quick, is that how you feel, Redman? Does it seem because I think Deadshot, some of this stuff might be really good.
Yeah, no, I think Deadshot's going to be great. Like, rifle on block, like, it does so much chip, and he can just do that full screen. I mean, he's got the anti-air, like, gunshots, and yeah, I think he's going to be really good. Some people said they thought he might have problems because of the low damage and all that, but I think he's going to be great. Yeah.
So that's actually that's pretty much all I have to say. I think the design's okay. Like, his default design actually looks good to me. It grew on me quite a bit. I'll give him a 6. He's cool. I have no problems with the character. I think he's a fine inclusion at this point. And Ishii.
So I'm looking at his website render, and I was worried that because it's shadowed, and I didn't know that there was. I was worried that he wasn't going to have any white on the hood or mask, like most of his comic depictions. And so I looked up in Google images, and it definitely seems like he's got some white on that mask, so that's good. But I think that design, I'm not too big on. Like Cyborg said, not too big on the Modern Warfare look. But as far as gameplay goes, someone mentioned about him being a.
What was Red Man gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that's actually like an older model. Like, I think he does have like fully white, like all over his.
Oh yeah, I think his
now.
his updated default design is just full white.
Yeah, it looks a lot better to me.
Yeah.
So I believe someone mentioned something about him being a hardcore zoner, and I'm looking at those gun gauntlets, and I'm thinking, oh my god, please don't be full auto Jackie all over again.
I think that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, hoping that's not the case, because if that's gonna be what he is, then I've probably found a character that I'm gonna hate more than Atrocitus. But yeah, I mean, don't know much. I fully expect him to be a jobber in the story, so I don't really have much to say. I'm probably gonna give him a 5 or 4. And that brings us to Harley Quinn. Now, I believe Cyborg suggested...
Brusk, is that...
Brusk? Oh.
How dare you?
Fuck this guy. Alright. You go ahead, Brusk. Senor Brusk.
I actually really like Deadshot. Like, I've always liked Deadshot. Like, when I started, like, being a fan of comics and everything like that, like, I remember, like, being so hyped for Deadshot or the Suicide Squad movie when it was announced. Like, when they announced Suicide Squad was going to be a movie and everything, I was like, yes, Deadshot. So when I saw him in Injustice 2, I was like, you know what, this is exactly how I would want Deadshot to be. This is probably the closest I'll probably get to Deathstroke, unless he's going to be a future DLC beyond the 9 DLC characters we're going to get. I'm pretty sure Deathstroke has a high chance, but we're not talking about Deathstroke. We're talking about Deadshot. The design looks really good, and I like this design. He's probably going to be a character I'm going to be using quite a bit when I want to get into the zoning kind of mood for me, because I'm going to have like a set of like 5 characters I'm going to use, and Deadshot is going to be that character I'm going to use if I want to be zoning my opponent out and everything like that. I like the variety he has in his trait, where he has like the poison, fire, and what was the other one? Just one that just boosts his damage.
The
up
explosive,
or something like
yeah.
Yeah, the explosive stuff. I like that. I just like the little cool animation where it just shoots the gun down at the floor and then and it pops right back up, and you can put it in any direction. I think that looks really cool. I think that move in general is really good too. Doesn't have a lot of close-up stuff. I mean, I like being close up, but since this is a character I'm going to use for zoning specifically, if I'm in that mood, it's not going to be a big deal to me. I think there's a couple things that he can work with up close, but I think it's like 1 or 2 things. If not, it's just one thing. But the only concern I have with him is that I saw a video with that PND Mustard and Ketchup made about like a character breakdown of Scarecrow actually, and they used Deadshot as an example to like as an opponent, and it looks like Scarecrow can easily counter Deadshot. So if I go Deadshot, they're probably going to go back to people are going to go to Scarecrow and everything. Not going to be a good time for me, and especially when I'm in that zoning mood and everything like that. But I don't know. I'll probably find a way to just work my way around that. But overall, I'm actually really excited for Deadshot. I love the character. Love him in the game. I think it looks good. About the gear, I don't mind the kind of Call of Duty kind of stuff. I mean, I guess it would work for Deadshot. It just it's whatever. I mean, it's fine. I can work with it. But overall, I'll probably give him a 9 out of 10.
Okay, take us to Harley.
Harley Quinn. Now, she was a character I used a lot in the first game. I like this. I like the gear. I like how she has a lot of things to put onto the character and everything. I just wish. I don't know. Have we seen like a red and black hair? Because I think that looks way better.
Red and black is in for sure.
Yeah, that was shown.
Oh, we do have. Oh, thank God. All right. Okay, so I'm happy. Okay, now I'm 10 times more happy. But I don't know. I don't have much to say. I mean, it's Harley Quinn. It's not the same case for Batman, but it's Harley Quinn. I'm excited for her. She looks. Her main design looks great. It's a mixture of their own take and the Suicide Squad one. But yeah, I would say in terms of how excited I am and looking forward to her, I'll probably give her an 8 out of 10. I'm probably going to be using her too. So yeah, Cyborg, I'll give it to you.
Okay, Harley looks great. She looks fantastic. One of my favorite characters. She's on that kind of chopping block in that I may give her a chance eventually because she looks like a lot of fun. Love her super. Love how it ends. Traits are kind of weird, but interesting at the same time. And yeah, her gameplay looks like just fun as always. It looked fun in Injustice 1, and it looks fun here. Look-wise, I think she looks great, and the gear, she's gonna do really well with the gear. I mean, that's a perfect character for gear-wise, as well as the shaders. Love the bubblegum pink and the teal on her. And just overall, I mean, the one on the website doesn't do her justice. Like, her face looks kind of weird on the website, but the actual face in the game... It looks kind
of cross-eyed.
Yeah,
I don't even think it looks that bad. It's just the eyes.
Yeah, they look creepy. In the game, though, her face is one of the best in the game. I think her whole model looks really, really good. So I'm excited for this character. Story-wise, she's been great. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this character, and I might give her a shot later down the line. So I will give her a, let's say, 8 out of 10. And I will throw it to Ishii.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you suggested I try out Harley when I pick up the game, and I mean, I wouldn't object to it. I like the character a lot. I love Harley Quinn. I mean, she definitely seems like a character that would benefit a lot from the gear system, given a lot of the customization options. And I obviously, as someone who likes designing characters, I'm probably gonna have a lot of fun with the shaders and with the gear. So yeah, I'm definitely giving her a shot. I'm throwing a lot of optimism here with Harley because I really want to make sure like when I pick a character, I want to enjoy playing as the character, and I want to be really optimistic.
Yeah,
And
usually that's
so
what we all strive for, is to
yeah,
enjoy who we're
Yeah.
playing.
absolutely, yeah.
Now I want to go
So
into
yeah.
the game looking for a crap character to play.
Cyborg all
So yeah,
day for me.
I'm throwing a lot of dice here. I really want to make sure I enjoy playing as Harley because I mean, in the last game she wasn't that good of a character to play, but maybe that's more of the problem. Maybe the problem was more the game itself because Injustice One felt so janky, and that does not seem to be the case. I mean, I've heard a lot of, you know, I've heard a lot of good opinions on, especially like on how the game plays in Injustice 2. So hopefully Harley will play a lot more smoother this time around. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna give her a go. Story wise, I mean, definitely seems like she's um, more so leaning on the side of good this time, and that's a really cool character development. So I give Harley an 8.
Cool. All right.
All right, Temp, you're up next.
Harley's interesting. In terms of like gameplay designs, she was one of the most interesting designs in Injustice One. I think she did gunplay better than any other character in that game, in my opinion,
Agreed.
including Deathstroke. Just a really interesting take on a stance character. And I did end up learning. She was the very last character I learned in that game, so I had a lot of fun with her. Happy to see her back. The hyenas are very interesting because I like what it does to her arsenal. I think her tool set is way more interesting because of it. If I'm playing as Harley Quinn, I don't really want to utilize the hyenas. It's not. I don't know. Aesthetically, it just doesn't do a lot for me. Even though it's totally canon, that goes all the way back to the animated series. So
Yeah.
can't argue with that. I just don't think it looks super good. But from a gameplay perspective, it's pretty perfect, to be honest with you. So gameplay is set. Gameplay looks really good. Her design, I don't know. If you replaced, like, the problem with her Injustice 1 costume, she's basically walking around in her underwear. If you put shorts on her, that is my favorite Harley design of all time. I thought her design, she was like the best female character in that game in terms of like visual design. So I just thought it was a little trashy looking. If you desexualize it and make it a little more tasteful, it would look perfect. And I don't see any reason to believe we're getting that design back. All the gear seems to emphasize the gesture aspect. Different strokes, I guess. It's not right for me. This is another case of they changed her face for no reason. I thought her previous face was fine. Just kind of like fix the jaw a bit and you're on good ground. Good or bad, I personally don't like the face anyway. I've been over that before. But good or bad, I just don't like changing faces unless the face is just straight up broken like Wonder Woman. That's a good example where you have to change. You absolutely have to change that face. Harley's cool, and great gameplay, workable design. Nothing very inoffensive design other than the face change. I'll give her a 7.5.
Okay.
And Redman.
Yeah. Yeah, not a character I have a whole lot to say about. I didn't use her much in Justice One. I thought she felt kind of awkward. Just didn't work for me, and I don't think it's going to work here either. But she looks more interesting with the hyenas. I think that's a good addition. Her trait was ass in Justice One, so I'm glad that they actually changed that. That's one of my favorite things, that they're altering traits that clearly needed improving, and I'm glad that they actually gave her something unique and not just another buff. So I'm happy with that. I don't know how I feel about the emphasis on the bat. I kind of prefer the mallet, but she still has that. So yeah, I don't know. She looks fine. Like, nothing really stands out about her that's terrible. I guess I don't like her voice a lot. I'm really kind of getting sick of Tara Strong at this point. Kind of wish they would cast someone else. Other than that,
Sorkin.
yeah, but other than that, she's nothing really stands out to me about her. So I'll give her a 5 out of 10. She's just average for me. Not terrible, not great. So yeah, I guess I'll continue on to Flash. Flash was kind of like a sleeper hit. I wasn't expecting Flash to be as good as he is. Like, they saved his gameplay. Like, they revealed him very early on, and then they saved his gameplay for almost a year. And what we got was insane. Like, I wasn't expecting them to improve on just about everything. Like, the Kinshi punches where he just stands there and watches yourself getting punched. Like, that is the sickest thing ever. I love the what do they call it? Like the wind hand things that like the anti-air.
Helicopter.
I just call it
yeah.
I call it fans. I don't really
Yeah.
The hand fans. Yeah.
Yeah, the hand fans. Those are sick. I love that's such a classic move for the Flash. Just everything about him looks awesome, and Super is by far one of the best in the game. And I think it's sick that they're introducing Reverse Flash as rear skin. Jay Garrick, I think that's one of the coolest things because I'm such a big fan of Jay Garrick, so it gives me more incentive to play the Flash because I love Jay Garrick. So I'm very happy with the Flash, and I love that they improved on just about everything, including his main design. His main design is by far and above like one of the most improved in this game. So
Indeed, I agree with that.
yeah, so I'll give Flash an 8 out of 10. I'm way more impressed with the Flash than I thought. So I'll give it over to Ishii.
Sure. All right. Now, as I was watching more of Flash's gameplay, I really started to gravitate towards him with the character. I especially love his super move. I feel like his super move is easily the best out of all the characters. No, I love how he like takes you back in time and like to the pyramids, then to the dinosaurs, and then like a duplicate of him comes and he like slams the opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I feel like Flash is a huge step up, and also in terms of design, he's not heavily armored this time around, and so he looks good. I feel like also he's also one of those characters where the base design is fine as it is. I'm not really too sure. I'm concerned about the gear system might like overdo it, but I don't know. I mean,
I can see that.
yeah, I suppose I'll have to wait till the game comes out and I pick it up myself, and I'll be the judge for sure. But Flash definitely seems like a character I'd consider trying out. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm going in optimistically, so I'll give Flash an 8, a fair score.
Yes.
All right, Brusk.
I was actually really surprised. I was surprised when the gameplay was revealed. I was like, whoa, this is so much more than I expected. Like when they said like, okay, we're gonna have a Flash and Bane Watchtower. I'm like, okay, I want to see Bane because I like Bane more as a character than Flash. But when they showed Flash, I was like, whoa, holy freaking crap, this is so cool. And like there was what was that one move? Do you guys remember that one move that he had in MK versus DC? And they brought it back in this game. I remember
The teleport punches?
Yeah, that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it just got into the nostalgia.
Oh, the back and forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the nostalgia.
Yeah, I love
was
that.
Like, oh, that's so cool. And then like the super move is good. He has a projectile, which is nice. I mean, like I don't think he had that in the first. Yeah, he didn't have it in the first game. He looks a lot smoother, like because like Flash kind of like I feel like Injustice 1 Flash was kind of trying to be like the smoothest character in the game, but it still had that clunkiness to them. Like it's still there, so it had a weird feeling. But Flash looks so much more. It just looks so smooth in this game. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Flash has to offer. I'm also very excited for Reverse Flash and Jay Garrick because my gosh, I was so afraid that they were gonna put Barry Allen in the freaking Jay Garrick helmet and everything like that. So
I expected that too.
Yeah, I expected that, but then when they just straight up put in Jay Garrick, I was like, okay, that's just perfect. And straight up putting Reverse Flash instead of having the shader be yellow. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a yellow shader, but it's not gonna be Reverse Flash. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what he has to offer. Not somebody I'm planning to use a lot, but I'm looking forward to giving him a try since this looks like a step up from Injustice 1. Not to say Injustice 1 was bad. It's just that I think the design ruined it for me, and the clunkiness of the game kind of ruined it for me too. Because Flash is like, it's this fast character, smooth. It's supposed to be smooth, and that's what I feel like they did in this game. Even though I haven't played it, it just obviously looks that way for this game. But yeah, I'll give them a 9 out of 10. And Cyborg.
Yeah, the Flash looks fantastic. I agree with everything that people have been saying. His base outfit is definitely one of the best in the game and is exactly what it needed to be. in this game, and his gameplay definitely looks better. They improved upon what already was okay, and now they made it definitely, they hit it a home run with his gameplay wise, so there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Story wise, I'm interested to see where this character goes. Super move, easily one of the best in the game. And yeah, this is another character that kind of stole the show on the Watchtower that he was on, that everyone kind of jumped on the Flash train that I want to play the Flash. So that happened with, you know, a few characters in this game, and that's always a good sign. But the Flash, yeah, I'm looking forward to him. Love that we're getting Jay Garrick, love that we're getting Reverse Flash, and it's great to see him get so many villains in the game as well, between Captain Cold and Gorilla Grodd. So this is really the Flash's, this is the Flash's game in a lot of ways, between how much representation he's getting and how good he's being represented here personally. So glad to see him in here. I will say 9 out of 10 as well. He is fantastic, and that leaves Temp.
I really don't have a lot to say. The gameplay demonstration was one of the best. The new design looks great. His gameplay looks great. 8 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something negative about him, like, I don't like him or something like that. I was like, oh god.
No, it's just it's beauty and simplicity. You know, there's really no in-depth, complex explanation. He just looks really good. Let me go back to 7.5, because I think 8 out of 10 is a little high. 7.5 is
See what you did, Russ? You should have just took it. All right, go ahead and go on to Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay. Blue Beetle, and his visual design looks fantastic. I love his voice actor. All the problems I originally had with his visual design have kind of faded over time. I thought the proportions were a little off. He kind of looks like he's like a 4-year-old dude. That honestly, it works now. I guess in game, it doesn't really come off that way anymore. His gear I could take or leave. His gear really doesn't do a lot for me. But with the shaders, I think like a red Blue Beetle or a red Beetle is going to look really sick, and it's going to be tight. Gameplay, oh man. What can I say that I haven't said already? Or how can I compress what I've already said? His design's a little weird. He has a little bit of everything. Doesn't mesh entirely well. He has a zoning stance, which is mediocre zoning compared to the rest of the cast. He has a rushdown stance, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because a lot of his chain combos still hit high, if they even reach. And if he gets a throw, or if he's playing footsies and ends up piercing you with his command dive or whatever, he throws you full screen, even though I'm in a rushdown stance.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes zero sense. None. He has the flight, but there's, like I said, there's so many hybrid zoners in this game, plus 2 premier zoners, that it's going to be really hard to kind of work your way in and get a cross-up. And I think even if you can do it consistently and successfully, his damage just isn't there. So if you work your ass off for the cross-up, you're getting like 22% or some shit like that.
It's way too much risk and not enough reward, really. Like, he has to take
exactly. Risk. His best chain is the definition of risk reward. I think his 4-3-2 is good. Why is it so unsafe? Why is his one like decent footsie tool that doesn't hit high? Why is that unsafe? Okay, so it's a launcher. So the fuck what?
It's like 20% off it.
Yeah, I know. And it's make it like -4. Fine. You don't want it to be like advantageous. Great. Make it like -6 or something. I shouldn't get blown up for a footsie tool. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially when Atrocitus can summon blood nados all fucking day. So yeah, his gameplay design doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know why they give me a fucking offensive stance, and then they yank it right away from me the minute I lose a round. Or if I win a round, I still lose it. It's like, and it wouldn't be so bad. I actually don't mind that for aesthetic purposes, but why is the startup so long for changing stances? God, I shouldn't be punished for changing modes of play, especially when arguably his rushdown stance is the inferior stance. Yeah. Like, that's the worst of the two. Why am I being punished for switching to it? When I default to the better stance if I win or lose. His gameplay is a little weird. There's definitely room for improvement, but I think they can make this happen. I think if his flight cancels are really effective, I feel like if you boost his damage a bit, and just kind of trim off some frames on the flight, make the flight a little more aggressive, we might have a really cool character. Let's assume that none of that happens. I still like Blue Beetle. I still plan on making him. If he sucks, I will take him as far as I can. 8 out of 10. Cyborg.
Okay, for Blue Beetle, he was what kind of I broke in on with the beta. So I definitely enjoy his mobility. I needed that mobility to get used to the game. So I appreciate the character for that. He feels good. I like the stance change aspect to him. I can't say that I expected that. We didn't really know a whole lot about this character going in, and I felt like right around the beta times when we finally started learning more about the character, right before that happened, and then we finally got our hands on him. So he's really interesting. I kind of like how he plays, the difference between the two stances, but I agree there's some issues there, and I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. Obviously, you know the character better than I do in terms of gameplay. You played him a ton. I moved on, not too long after starting him, but he was fun when I played him. I like his design. I definitely like his design. I think it looks really good. I'm excited for some of his gear options. I've seen some of his more elaborate epic pieces, and I think they look really cool, and I'm excited for some of the color changes, like the silver version that we've seen and stuff like that, make him look really good. Story, I hope he definitely has his moments and plays his role, and I hope he's not a side character or anything like that. Hopefully he's part of Batman's team through and through, and from beginning to end, and that would be really cool. So I think the character is interesting, and I will give him a Super's kind of okay, not bad, but yeah, overall I'll say 7.5 out of 10. And Brusque.
Well, I actually really like I actually really like Blue Beetle as a character from the comics and everything. Just with gameplay, he was like the hardest character in the beta. So I don't know. I don't really like Stan's characters either. So I mean, I'm not completely against it. So I'm not saying that I will never pick him up or never even like go into practice mode and see what he's all about. I just can't say like his gameplay is not gonna work for me because there's always gonna be something that just hooks me onto the character, and I'll just push as much as I can, and work with what I have. If there's just like one thing that's good about his gameplay and everything, I'm not saying his gameplay is bad to me. It's just that what the Temps complaints about it kind of it's just it just raises it just really how do I say it? It really does make me not want to try the character, but I do like the character in the comics and everything, so I guess I'll just give him a shot. But I do like his gear a lot. I think his gear is actually really, really cool. I like the gold beetle stuff. I think that looks
that looked really
cool.
good.
The helmets are cool. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Interesting, but I don't think he's probably he's gonna end up not being my type of character, but I can't say for sure. And that leaves us with Ishii.
And
I'm a
Man,
blank
but,
slate
yeah,
on.
either way.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a blank slate on Blue Beetle. I don't know much about the character. I mean, I heard his name several times, and he's one of those characters along with Atrocitus I would have expected for an Injustice sequel, and I'm glad he's in. And, kudos to those who have, wanted him in. So, I mean, obviously you guys have covered his gameplay. I mean, I don't obviously know much about the character. Something interesting about his interaction dialogues with Firestorm, though, kind of hint towards that these two might, be closely acquainted in the story. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, I guess suppose he looks good. I don't know much about the lore of the character, so I don't have much to add. So, if I'd have to give a rating, I'd probably just throw an average 5. He looks pretty cool, I'll give him that. But nothing else to say.
Okay.
Redman.
Yeah, like Tim said, I had a lot of problems with his gameplay. I thought he was a lot of fun to play, but when I got matched up against like this lame as fuck Batman who just sits there in zones, I have to try and counter zone with a worse projectile. So what do? I try to go in with the mobility, and then I get anti-aired by a fucking batarang. So what do? I have to sit there and play a super lame play style that I do not want to play. So I try and trade up and go in, and it doesn't work at all. So That was probably
If
the
it
worst.
does work, so what? You have no damage. So-
Yeah, I get worse damage than Batman himself, so I'm just like, I don't
I
know.
mean, that was just the beta, so like it might just improve.
Yeah, you're right. It, like you said though, it definitely put me off of playing the character like late. He was a lot of fun to play, I will admit that, but he has a lot of weird design choices gameplay wise. Design wise, he looks good. I'm glad he's in. Like he's a very requested character for the first game, so no complaints there. And I'm with you. I actually like his gear and his shaders look pretty good. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. It could have been better, but
And real
gameplay
quick,
wise, I'm not digging it.
real quick before we move on to Bane, I do want to make mention. I feel like Blue Beetle might have a lot to gain by the abilities, just purely because in his vanilla form, did he really have any specials other than he had the dive with when he's got the prongs out, and he has his
Fireball.
flight, and he has the blaster cannon. But
Yeah.
you can only use one of each in the respective stances, and you could do the flight thing in the air as well. So
He also had, he had like the flight move where he like brings you up in the air and brings you down, and then like the sword stab thing.
Yeah, the
And then the
Baraka
shield, I think,
stabs.
is-
okay. So yeah, I don't know. He just felt like he didn't have a whole lot of specials to him. Like a lot of other characters seem like they're bringing a lot to the table in their vanilla form. Whereas I felt like Blue Beetle, once I started unlocking abilities, like being able to do the flying stab thing, dive thing from the air and other stuff like that, I felt like I started enjoying him even more because he just didn't seem like he had... I don't know. He just seemed like he had very limited moves in his base form. So I'm hoping abilities can really turn that around and give him a lot more to work with. But yeah, I don't know.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. So
But,
moving
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
Have you gone yet for Blue Beetle? Or...
Yeah. You're up. You're good.
For Bane, I'm really excited for Bane. One of my biggest complaints for Injustice 1 was Bane's size. I really didn't like how he was just like a towering golem, basically. Like, he's fucking humongous. So I was really happy that they toned it down to his kind of Nightfall size for this game. But also, one of my biggest complaints was for this game is that it doesn't seem like you can actually give him his Nightfall look. So it's kind of like it's take and give. Like, I kind of get one thing, but I also lose another. So that is one of my big complaints, that I can't make him look like how I want to look, but his design isn't bad how it is. I'm just kind of upset about that. But he looks great to me. Like gameplay wise, I think he's a lot more interesting. I think he's a lot less brain dead than the first game. After he got buffed, he was just literally an armor monster. He didn't have to worry about pressing buttons. He just fucking in your face pressed whatever. He's safe plus whatever. I really didn't like that, but it was still interesting to me. But I just didn't like how you could just hit him up. Basically, just sit there and wait for the cooldown, and then it seems like in Injustice 2, you really have to think about going in now and going to that level 3 Venom, because it's such a detriment to his playstyle now, because it makes him a lot slower, and it also makes his moves a lot slower, so it's like, it's a lot more risk to Venom up now than it was in the previous game, but yeah, I'm really liking that aspect, and he just looks really interesting. I love all the new animations, all the new just style that he has. I'm not really upset about him losing the backbreaker, but yeah, I'm just loving everything I'm seeing from Bane right now. So, overall, I'll probably give him a 9 out of 10. He's really impressing me. So, Cyborg, why don't you?
Okay, for Bane, I think the look is tremendous. I love this design for him. The masks all look really, really cool from what I've seen gear-wise. And I love the lines of the Venom going through his outfit. Look really, really cool. I mean, the Tron aesthetic, as we mentioned in the past on the Nethercast, can either look really good or it can look really bad, depending on the character and depending how it's executed. In this case, I think it's executed really, really well. I love the SWAT look, the Special Ops Bane that we're getting here. And teaming up with the Society, I think, is a great kind of storyline reasoning for this outfit. I want to see mercenary Bane that's going on special ops missions to take down people. You know, he's trying to get revenge on the regime, so on and so forth. I think would be really cool. So I'm really digging this. I do hope that we do get some variety, just like with all the characters. I always hope for variety, so I do hope we can get him back in the singlet looking wrestler look and that kind of stuff. Hell, I hope we get a damn trench coat for him or something. I think that kind of stuff, like from The Dark Knight Rises or from Batman and Robin, where he has the trench coat and the hat and he's trying to blend in like a Ninja Turtle. Yeah, I think that would be sweet. I'm up for all the variety for characters. So the more variety, the better. The less I hope to stay away from things that just look very much the same, just slightly altered to the one side or whatever. But his base form looks tremendous, and special mention to the different color of the Venom. I love that the shaders can change the color of his Venom. That glowing neon color, I love neon colors. 80s look, obviously. And that's what you get with Bane. You get that Tron, neon, futuristic, the 80s view of the future aesthetic on Bane, and that to me is awesome. I love the glowing reds, I love the glowing blues, green of course, gold, all sorts of different colors. I think is awesome. So I'm happy to get that with Bane. And his gameplay wise, I think he looks good. Yes, they changed the cooldown time, the bad part of the Venom intake, which I think is probably essential. And because from the damage that I've seen him doing, especially at level 3 of the Venom, is just fucking nuts. And yeah, he's the type of dude that when he's fully decked out on Venom, he can take probably 90%, if not your entire life bar, with the right combo or mixed in with his super. Like, it was nuts, especially with abilities going on. I think they showed off an ability in one of the watchtowers where they broke him down, and with one of the abilities it was like a damage buff, and he was doing, I think they actually took like a full life bar with one of his supers or combos or whatever. So that is just frightening to me, but I think that's awesome. I love that kind of crazy nonsense. Is going to be some good fun. And yeah, I think Bane's great, and I'm excited for him. So I probably won't play him, but he looks good, and I think everything's going right for him. So I hope he has a decent role in story, and I'm glad to see him. So I will say 9 out of 10 for Bane as well. He looks tremendous, and yeah. And I will throw it on to Temp. You started us. No, you started us with Blue Beetle, didn't you? Okay. Go ahead and go.
Okay, yeah, Bane looks good. Bane was one of the characters I was really excited to see, and for the most part, he still looks good. They took the character in a direction I didn't really want him to go to. And I know I'm going to kind of sound like a hypocrite here. I hated Aquaman because he was so dumb, but I loved Bane because he was so dumb. So it's interesting. Like, there's nothing like it in other fighting games. There's nothing like doing an EX backbreaker and on Oki doing another EX backbreaker. Like, that is like so. It's like going full dumb. Like, that's the problem with Aquaman. Like, he didn't go full circle. Bane goes full circle. He's so smart. He goes all the way back to dumb. It's a very cool character design. So they took that away. What's up?
I was just say, like, just earlier today, like, when I was playing Bane, I just, like, command grabbed Smoke Man, like, 4 times in a row, and I was just like, yes, this is so good.
Character, though. It's brilliant. You can do that. The Venom makes his command throws so... That's why, like, the stream failed to show. Yes, the Venom makes his super better, and that's going to be just fucked up, considering the range on that super. But the thing is, like... A command grab is not just a command grab with Bane. When that Venom gets going, you have no idea what that damage output's going to be until it happens. So, he's a very dynamic, volatile gameplay character.
Also,
what's that? Yeah.
I just wanted to chime in. I just forgot to mention that I love that you could also use his command grab, his meter burn, which takes a long time to actually get rid of that debuff. I thought that was such an interesting aspect of it.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, another way to make the character more dynamic is just kind of messing with that debuff and making it more than just a waiting period, you know? So, I'm also going to agree with Cyborg. He is contender for top 3 in terms of best shaders in the game. They look really good. If he doesn't lose the sleeves, I think his default design looks so good. I don't see myself messing with any of the gear. I'm really just going for the shaders in this character unless something really impresses me. But it's one of those. It's not a detriment. That's my way of saying I don't need gear. What I got right now is good enough. So yeah, I'm excited for Bane. I don't think he needed an overhead. Like I said, I don't care for the direction they took. I like the original like brain dead Bane we got in Justice 1, but this is workable. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7.5. And let's go to Brusque.
All right, so Bane is another comic book character that I actually really like, but I'm actually really when they showcased him on the on his watchtower, I was actually really impressed with what they did. I mean, like I'm not a fan of just brain dead characters. I mean, like it's just not fun to me. So having him go from like screaming at you and from him going like and then just charging at you from Injustice One, and for him to like scream and like do some other cool stuff and actually be not brain dead, I think that's a really good improvement on him. So I think the gameplay is really good. Probably not my playstyle, but it's something that is kind of touching on my playstyle. It's scratching the surface on what kind of character I would play, but I'm probably not going to be using him. But I'm really liking his gear. I'm really liking the shaders. They look so good. He's probably top 3 of the best characters with shaders in it, or the best shaders in the game. He's probably top 3 in my opinion, if not probably number 1. But I think there's some other characters I could probably take that title. But overall, I'm actually really excited to see what Bane has to do more in the game, because everything is look pretty cool. I remember when he was first put onto the website, I was like, holy crap, that design looks so good. So yeah, his default design, perfect, on spot. Rating probably 7.5, because I'm not planning to use him, but he's scratching the surface on there. And Ishii.
Well, definitely it seems like, as far as the gameplay goes, I'm hearing a lot of optimism here, which is good. It's just Bane's not. I mean, Bane is one of those characters I did not expect to see back in this game, and
neither did I. Yeah,
I didn't either. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh shoot, another Batman character, interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep it brief, obviously, because I joined in the hype train late and I don't have much to say. So, I'm not really a big fan of the look. I think Bane should not really be covered from head to toe. I mean, it's really just. I was kind of hoping something along the lines of Nightfall, but I suppose it's all right. I mean, as long as people are happy. I am disappointed the backbreaker is gone. I mean, I feel
I forgot to mention
that should be a Bane staple.
Yeah, like the Aquaman trying the stabby stab, that should be on Bane, honestly, in my opinion.
The backbreaker like super or the.
I mean, it could be
command
either
grab.
Super or.
So I think he has it as one of his abilities. You can swap it out.
He does.
So. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I think that's fine.
He also has a move where he stomps on your back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Story, I don't expect much for him. I fully expect him to be a jobber for the society.
Probably.
Rip.
Yeah. Rest in pepperoni. So I'd give him a 5 or 6.
All right, take us into Ivy.
Here we go.
Well, I have some mixed opinions about her gear. I mean, obviously, I mentioned before we started up this podcast, she has like one of her gear accessories. She literally has like red cabbage on her tits. Not sure how I feel about that. But yeah, there are some other accessories that look cute, especially like the flower crown and such. Gameplay definitely seems like she has like a good mix. Story-wise, probably another society jobber. I'm not too sure. I don't really have much else to say. I mean, she's also one of those characters, along with Bane, I did not expect to see in Injustice 2. But yeah, again, I'm trying to keep it brief. I don't have much else to add. So I'll throw it on you, Cyborg, since you mentioned that you.
What's your rating?
Oh, right. Probably a 6.
Okay.
She definitely looks good. I'm really partial to characters that have a lot of style, and Ivy definitely seems like she has a lot of style.
All right. Yeah. So for Ivy, for me, easily my number 1 or 2 main for me. The model is easily my favorite in the entire game. She just looks tremendous to me. dependent on, I mean, that's completely independent on what she's actually wearing. That I don't really care about. That could be anything. It could be a paper bag. I don't care. The face looks good. The hair looks good. The overall physique looks good. I don't know, just everything looks like the right proportions, and she just looks very graceful, elegant, beauty, seductress. It just screams Ivy to me. All the way down to the green eyeshadow. It just looks exactly like what I wanted. And the pale skin, I'm glad that that it's not green skin by default. I'm pretty sure you can change her skin green by a shader. But I'm glad for the pale skin. That's the Ivy I want. I want Ivy with more humanish skin, so I think that's cool, and the powderiness just looks perfect to me. This character, if I was gonna put a character up on my wall, like as a pinup poster type of thing, that would be this character. I just think she has that sort of appeal, and gameplay wise, she looks to be really interesting. Like there's certain aspects I like, certain aspects I don't. I love a lot of her normals using the vines coming up from the ground. Her back three, I believe, is that giant... It's her back three or forward three, I can't remember. It's the vine that just shoots out and it's just crazy. Or it's her down three.
Back three.
Yeah, or down two, I should say. But yeah, her back three then, and yeah, I just love that kind of aspect. And I love that most of her fighting is using the Bitey and Chompy, or whatever they call them in the actual game. The little flowers that are on her back, I think that's an awesome way to go with the character. Contrary to most people's belief, is she can actually fight. She's not just a character that's just, as soon as she gets into combat, she gets her ass kicked. She does. I mean, most villains in these comics have shown fighting skills at one time or another. You don't last in comics for, 60, 70 years by just sitting on your ass. So she does know some sort of martial arts. I don't know to what degree. I just know, I've researched this character a lot for designing her for another game I play, a tabletop game. So I do know that she has some sort of martial arts background at this point. But yeah, she's not Shang-Chi rolling around or anything like that. But she can hold her own to a degree. So I don't think she should be absolutely useless or just a complete zoner. So I kind of like that they gave her a little bit of both. And I like that they gave her the flowers. So that way she has the style and the finesse of a dancer rehearsing these moves. Like she knows the kung fu, she just doesn't have the strength to back it up. And I love that aspect. She can do all the motions and like the precision of all these attacks with her arms and the way she moves around. So yeah, that's why I attribute, like, she's basically doing ballet and the actual flowers are doing the damage. And I think that's perfect for this fucking character. And that's why I'm absolutely in love with her design, just from head to toe, gameplay-wise and design-wise, because I think they nailed that aspect of her. There are certain things that I'm hoping to trade out with abilities. I like the drills coming up from the ground. Those are going to be incredibly useful, I can already tell, for setting up combos, etc. And I like her throw and the kiss that if you meet... I like that when she grabs them normally, she just slaps them across the face. Like, she grabs them, and you think that she's going to do, like... You're not sure what she's going to do. You think she's going to go into, like, some sort of throwing animation where she throws them down onto the ground or flips them over her head or whatever. But no, she just grabs them by the face and gives them, like, a little kiss, and then just slaps them across the face, like, as hard as she can. I love that. It surprises me every time. Like, I'm always fooled by it, expecting to see her do, like, some sort of throw or trip or whatever, and she just straight up slaps them. It's great. And then I love that you meter burn it, and it's full on. They're just kind of, it sets them up for a combo. I like her jumping in kick, or jumping in attack, is the double kick. I think that's just kind of unique and fun, like a little bicycle kick as she's coming down.
I kind of like that as well.
It's just little style things like that, and it's just great form. Like I said, precision. I love that combo string where she jumps up, wraps her leg around their head, does the motions with her hands, and then Bitey and Chompy punch them in the face, and then they fall down on their back and she falls down on top of them, and it's just very graceful, very fluid, very smooth. I love that aspect. She can do roundhouse kicks and little like cartwheel kicks and stuff, which I'm always a fan of when female characters do that. So yeah, she's just very graceful, and I'm digging it. Hopefully in story-wise she is not a jobber. I'm not expecting too much, but I'm hoping to see something about her done really well, because I do like this character's story and how she goes about in the comics. She's kind of on that neutral stage. She's not like into world domination, but at the same time, she's not necessarily good either. So I like that edge to her. I'm hoping the abilities can change out some of the things that I'm not a big fan of, like the thorn patch. I'm not too much of a fan of that. I'm not good at setting up traps like that, so I'm hoping. We already know we can replace it with like a healing patch, which I think would be more useful for her zoning side of things. The little weird ball and chain thing that she can do looks really cool. I don't really need to replace that out. Maybe her Nightshade slash Pukey. I hope maybe she has a different trait. I'm not like against that trait. That trait's super useful, but I'm curious if she has another option. I like the bark skin. Looks great. So yeah, overall, just love with this character. That's why I'm going on and on. Overall, it's hard for me to give a character a 10 out of 10 because I feel like there's almost always room for improvement. So I will say 9.5. Yeah, I'll say 9.5.
You mentioned the plant dino, right?
Yep, Nightshade. I think it'll be really useful. I'm curious if she'll have a different thing that'll replace it as like a different ability. But yeah, if that's what she's with, I'm happy with it. So
sweet.
Gear wise, I guess didn't cover that. I'm hoping she has more than just like different leaves and stuff. I'm hoping to get her like in a like a leotard or the more classic outfits and cloths or like a dress of some sort or skirt or whatever. Stuff that she's shown up in comics. I'm hoping more variety. We've seen a lot of the same type of stuff, but I'm just hoping that's just because that's what we've seen and we haven't seen a whole lot of her gear. And her shaders look interesting, but yeah, overall I think she looks fine as is in her base form, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, so 9.5 out of 10 for me. And I will throw it to we started out with Ishii. Redman, what do you got?
Okay, yeah, not a whole lot to say. I think clearly Swamp Thing is superior in every way.
Fuck.
She's all right. She looks more interesting than I expected her to look. I know she was really requested for Injustice 1, so I am glad she's in the game. I know a lot of people wanted her, and she is interesting. It's not my type of character, like I've said before. Yeah, I'm interested to see how she's in the story. Gear-wise, I'm not really caring for what she has. But I do like the drill things. I think that's interesting, and it is cool how she attacks without punching. So I do like that. Yeah, she's okay. I'm glad she's in the game, so I guess I'll give her 6 out of 10.
One thing to chime back in real quick, I forgot to mention, because my response was so generic. I do find it really interesting how Ivy and Swamp Thing play like the exact opposite of how you'd expect them to play.
Yeah, they have completely different play styles. It's really awesome. Because some of the moves you would have expected Ivy to have, or Swamp Thing to have, Swamp Thing actually has, or kind of vice versa.
It's a nice contrast.
Sure.
I forgot you went actually. Russ, why don't you?
Poison Ivy was actually one of the characters I was really, really looking forward to be in the game. And honestly, I mean, I'm not surprised when they showed her off. I wasn't surprised, but that wasn't a bad thing because she was exactly how I wanted her to be. And I don't know where to go from there other than that her gear looks actually pretty good. I mean, I like the crowns and everything, the crown that she has. I like that. I don't mind the different leaves. I mean, I don't know what you. Whoa, that was a. Sorry about that. I don't know if you heard that, but freaking car horn went off. But anyways, I don't mind the leaves and everything. I mean, I don't know what you can do more than just have more plants on her and everything. I was hoping more of a design that was like her Arkham Knight, where she has shorter hair. But I think she looks fine just the way she is and everything. But my response does sound generic, but I'm actually really excited more than I sound. More excited than more than I sound. So than what I'm describing. But yeah, I'll give her a 9.5 out of 10. She's probably going to be a character I'm going to use a lot. She's among my 5 characters I'm probably going to main.
No, she won't. But I believe that leaves Temp.
Ivy looks good. This is another one of those characters where it's really hard to draw conclusions. I need to see the frame data. I mean, honestly, she can go either way. Her chain combos could be really good or
I'm
really
liking her
bad.
more already. You know what I mean?
So-
Heyo! Okay.
Yeah. So I can't tell how safe the character is. That's really what's kind of making me reserved about using the character. Although there's a lot of the characters I'm using already have zoning tools, so I'm not super set on using Ivy anyway. I do disagree about her being a jobber. I don't think she'll be a jobber in the story mode. I think the inclusion of her and Swamp Thing was very much by intent. They want to really build on that rivalry. And
Rivalry
I think
or
not rivalry, foil. Foil. Yeah, that's probably a better word. I think the same thing is true with Captain Cold. I don't expect Cold to be a jobber. I think they're going to really play on the fact that Flash's ex-regime and all of Cold's friends were murdered, as well as his sister were murdered by the regime. So the Ivy and Cold have that in common. Her design looks good. I don't really want anything from her design or her gear. I think this is another example where the default looks good. I don't really want to put different types of cabbage on her. I'm not interested in that. That doesn't. This works. This is fine. If anything, I would want the traditional Green Leotard. I think that to make her more animated series Ivy is probably all I would ask for.
Agreed.
And even that, if I don't get that, whatever.
I mean, considering we have Supergirl's like classic red skirt, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll get some variation of a classic outfit for Ivy.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, yeah, I'll say 7 out of 10. And we're moving on to Brainiac, right?
Yep.
Okay, Brainiac is very much accustomed to someone I would play. I love mid-range characters. And he's very low on combo damage, although, again, we'll see. I know they say that. People may find a way to make it work anyway, so we'll see how that unravels. But I love mid-range offense. I love safe options. He's not super safe up close, but you don't have to play it up close. His down 2 looks ridiculous. His fucking... I don't know what to call it, but when he sprouts the tentacles from his back to create like a weird tentacle tree, yeah, honestly, a lot of his special moves weird me out. I don't like it, but it looks useful, but just...
I like that you don't even know what to call that. Like,
yeah,
how do you even describe that?
Yeah. Flucked up? I don't
Shocking
know.
tendrils.
Yeah, if you've ever seen John Carpenter's The Thing, that's what it reminds me of. So all that shit makes me really uneasy. But I like the style a lot. I love his down 2, even though, again, just shades of The Thing. I don't... It's definite Deborah territory. But I love the dive kick. I wish NetherRealm would kind of deviate from the traditional NRS dive kick. I hate the fact that it's a YOLO combo starter. I'm tired of that. I'm so over that. So I would like a traditional offensive dive kick, like something like Yang from Street Fighter. But his design's okay. The render on the website does not do him justice at all. I love the voice work. The voice work is by far the best part of his design. Story in visual, or I guess visual's not the right word. So that's all really good. I like the colors. Even though I think the design is so-and-so, not so, it just doesn't do anything for me. I love the purple and the black and the green. That does work really well. I don't think I'll be using a lot of shaders for this character if I use them. I will give him a 7.5 out of 10. And we will move on to Redman.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I love the colors of the character. Like, he's very imposing on the select screen. Like, he brings a good amount of diversity there. Yeah, the tentacles, like, they went really overboard with it. I think they just brought a lot of that to his moveset, and I think it is cool. I just kind of wish he had more unique stuff. I feel like they might have used that a bit too much, but he looks good. He's not a character I was really expecting, at least for the main villain role. I really didn't expect him to go this route, but I'm glad they did. It's a very nice change of pace compared to the first game. It's nice to have an actual boss. I love his stage. I love how he actually uses the tentacles in the stage when you're fighting him, like as the boss. I think that's really sick. Yeah, he looks really interesting. Him having a dive kick is weird as shit, but it works for some reason. I really like it.
It's a little random, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't really fit the character. Yeah, but I love his back three as well. He just does a fucking backflip like that is so sick. You wouldn't expect this giant dude to just be able to move like that. I think that's awesome. Yeah, he looks fun. Kind of underwhelming. I really had hoped that laser would be in his base moveset because I thought that was sick. He just called down a pink laser. Like, how badass is that? But it is an ability, but I mean, I'll still use it if I ever do use the character. I'll probably pick that ability. So, yeah, he does look fun. I'm glad he's in the game because, yeah, it's a nice change of pace. So I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, looking pretty good. Let's move on to Ishii.
Oh. Now, I do realize this outfit's more accurate to comic depiction. It's just every time I think about Brainiac, I always harken back to the Superman animated series and Justice League cartoons where he had that silly Star Trek looking outfit with the metal T shape on his chest and the blue skin. That's a weird image to me, but I don't know. It's just, I guess, since that was my first ever exposure to the character, that's what I remember him by. I find it really cool that he's the final boss of the game. I feel like it's a well-deserved spot of the character. Really glad they did not just rehash, and we're doing the Injustice 1 plot all over again. No, it's definitely, they're mixing it up this time around. The overall look, it's just the metal, from neck to toe. The design looks almost Michael Bay, Transformery. I'm not too sure. Maybe that's just the website and all the value and shading, but I'm looking forward to seeing. Obviously, I didn't watch much of his, gameplay, and obviously I'm still watching videos because, like I said, I caught up with this game late. Still, trying to catch up with what we've seen.
Yeah.
I remember this funny little name we had for him when he was like. When we saw that first screenshot of him with his arm out, and he had these metal tentacles on the back coming out, and people were calling him, "Haha, look, it's Dr. Octoniac." But yeah.
Yeah.
I do notice he's voiced by the guy who did Ratchet in Transformers Prime. It was kind of disappointing. I was always a big fan of the Corey Burton voice actor from the Superman animated cartoon. But still looks cool nonetheless, I suppose. I'm probably crossing on a 7 or a 6. Probably more so on a 6, but still looks good nonetheless. All right. Cyborg.
Okay. We're gonna have to speed these along if we hope to finish in the next year. So by the time the game comes out, so I'm gonna start. If I don't have super passionate about the character, I'm just gonna keep it short and simple. So for Brainiac. Looks good. I like it. I dig it. I dig the outfit. I dig the voice, obviously, and his gameplay looks interesting. I love the use of all the tentacles. So, yeah, overall, I will give him a 7 out of 10. Rusk?
All right. Well, I don't have much to say about Brainiac either because I'm not the biggest Brainiac fan, but I like the character. His design looks cool. I mean, this is what I expected Brainiac to look like. I mean, it's nothing that I wouldn't not like or anything like that. I like his voice. The voice is good. One little nitpick about it is the hit sounds when you hit him. It's the same one as Triborg's. It's kind of annoying. It's like tapping metal. As opposed to the MK9 one where it sounds like you're hitting a trash can.
Sound files, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I wish it just sounds. I don't know. It's just a pet peeve. Not a pet peeve. But I'm just saying a little nitpick. It just sounds a little weird. But the tentacle kind of things in his gameplay look cool. I mean, I'm not too keen on his gameplay. Not to say it's bad. It's just that I didn't expect much from him, nor did I look forward to his gameplay. But the thing I looked forward to the most was his story, and I like how his arcade ending, when you defeat him, the whole ship just comes down, it just blows up, and it just
yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, it just crashes down and blows up. I mean, that's a huge step up. I remember a tweet saying it's a huge step up from getting fat and blowing up. So.
Yeah, at least it doesn't explode.
Yeah. So overall, I would say Brainiac's pretty cool in the game. I mean, it's nothing, nothing too surprising. I would just say that I'm looking forward to him in the story more than anything else. So I would give him a 6.5 out of 10.